that we have.
Four. Oh yeah.
Afterwards, there's Alex. Welcome. One quick reminder: if you're not, just do me a favor and please mute yourself. There's a bunch of us on here. It's exciting to be able to exchange ideas, ask questions, and get engaged in that way. But until you're ready to speak or ask a question or something, let's try and keep everybody on mute, and I'll try to monitor that too. So at the end of this, you'll have some deliverables from me: a copy of the presentation, a copy of the recording. We're also going to have a Q&A at the end of today's session. And so, jot down some questions if you have them. Jeff and I are going to definitely stick around to answer those the best we can towards the end. Just a quick teeny bit about my background before I get started. Out of college, became a real estate agent, did that full time for about 10 years, got into the title business, and now I'm excited to be with an underwriter for my first and only time. Started here about a year and a half ago. So the way it's going to shape out this morning is, rather than it being a full 2-hour session like we were going to do in person, Jeff and I are going to try and do some pretty quick hitting little 15-minute sessions. The cool thing about this is I have full classes built around all of these sessions that we can spend a lot of time on. So in the coming months, if we want to circle back up and do a full-on session with some of these, I would be really excited to do that. So I am going to start with one of my favorite things. Duncan's probably going to roll his eyes because he's certainly heard me talk about.
These things came right on time.
Yeah, Velma.
Right on.
And real quick, Jeff or Duncan, do you have the ability to
comment? Then I'll comment back.
I was gonna say, if you can give me the ability, I don't, but I'll be happy to do it.
I need to change that setting real quick because I'm gonna have a hard time doing that while I'm.
Yeah, I got you.
Give me that ability too, and I'll get help.
Yeah, I'll make you guys both hosts real quick. Sorry about that, guys. Try Duncan. Duncan, there you go. And then I think Jeff. Yeah, so Duncan, you have control now. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I'll go ahead and get started. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to talk about one of the things I've nerd out about pretty much all the time lately, and that is growing your business using reviews. And I always say, if something's free, it's bought me. And so the really fun thing about reviews and online reputation is there's a ton of things that you can do that cost you zero. And I know when I was a full-time real estate agent, I was trying to make my marketing dollars go as far as possible. So if I limit the cost of some type of advertising.
I'm sorry, I'm listening to the 9 o'clock call.
These are, yeah, and Duncan, the easiest way, like there should be a little green.
I don't have access just yet, Sam.
Okay. I handed it over, so let's see. I'll go ahead and reclaim it, and I'll try and kind of keep up with that.
Send it to me again.
Yeah. Good stuff. I love.
Let's just go through and make sure we mute everyone who's not actually presenting.
Yeah, absolutely. There's not a mute all necessarily.
I think our next class needs to be Zoom etiquette.
I think that would be hilarious.
Yeah, do some Zoom etiquette. This is.
I sent it over to you again, Duncan.
Got it.
Got it?
Yep.
Cool. All right. So I'm going to talk about the top ways to generate more reviews to grow your business in 2022, absolutely for free. Because like I said, if it's free, it's for me. So a couple quick statistics on reviews to help prove my point before we dive in. Consumers read an average of 10 reviews before they feel they can trust a business. So it takes 10 times them seeing somebody else talking about you, your professionalism, your services, before they're willing to trust you and give you a shot as their real estate agent. So that's kind of an important statistics number. That gives us our first goal: get 10 reviews, right? Like that is our bottom line first goal. So on this quick little 15-minute session on reviews, here's where we're going to go. This is our game plan. We're going to talk about making it personal, which is a great way to get reviews rolling in. We're going to talk about QR codes briefly because they are
I think a week.
we're going to talk about creating,
like you said, the 5 days.
Engaging. Yeah. Jolly, if you could mute yourself real quick. We're going to talk about creating engaging evergreen content. This is content that will work anytime, anywhere. It will never go out of style. It will always be pertinent based on those reviews. And then I'm going to wrap up.
Yeah, I think just the applications,
about
because like the scripts, the good thing is we have access to to the spreadsheet. We could always review the scripts,
Jolly
whenever
Jolie,
we have some
not sure how you say
downtime and
it,
stuff
if
like
you can hear
that.
us. Yeah, can you find him, Duncan? Sorry about that. So the last stop we're going to talk about is gratitude. And in between these sessions, I'll try to optimize some of these settings if I can while Jeff is speaking to make sure that we don't go through this the whole time. Sorry about this, guys. Again, if you can hear me, please mute yourself. It'd be really awesome. So 76% of consumers that are asked to leave a review go on to do it. So that basically means that for us, the task is to ask basically 3 out of 4 people that we ask to leave a review for our brokerage, for our real estate practice are going to do that. So that's some great numbers. So I'm going to talk about where to grab a link that we're going to share with our clients and customers. It's pretty simple to do. I'm going to talk about 3 different links here: Google, Facebook, and then if you want to do an agent link on Zillow or Realtor.com, anything like that. So if you have a Google My Business page, all you're going to do is click on the reviews on your page, and then the link that pops up then when your reviews are actually up is the link that you're going to use. That link will drive them directly to where all they have to do is click a star rating and click submit. That is the easiest link to grab when you're trying to grow reviews on that Google page. If you're doing it for Facebook, which is, I think, the second best place to really ramp up reviews, first, I think, being Google, if you have a Google page, second being Facebook, as far as the SEO that people see when they're Googling or Binging for a real estate agent. Same thing here. You're going to click on the review tab on your page. I just figured I'd show that there is actually sushi in El Paso, Texas, in the desert where I live. So I'm using my friend's sushi place as an example here. So you're going to click on that review tab, and the link that pops up there, you'll notice that it has the name of the business, and it says reviews there at the end. That's the right link that, again, will send them directly to that review tab on your Facebook page, so that they don't have to look around for where to go. I think one of the number one problems that we kind of create ourselves when we're looking to grow our business with reviews is we just tell our clients kind of blankly, hey, if you had a great experience, I'd love for you to leave me a quick review. I'd really appreciate it. We've just given our clients homework, right? All we've said is, could you please leave us a review? We haven't told them where to leave us the review, what platform they want to do it on, what type of review. We've just kind of given them a blanket statement. So if we can direct them to exactly where we want them to go, there is a far better chance that they will go on to actually leave that review. So the third type of link that you could grab if you want to do this to build your Zillow reviews, which is, I think, the third most important of those 3. Same thing. When you go to your agent profile, you'll click on reviews. And when you're on that, you just grab that link right there. And that's the link that we're going to be using. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is getting personal. This may seem archaic. It may seem, I'm a marketing technology director, right? Like, it may seem like this is not super tech forward, but it works. So this was an email that I jotted out last year. And this is the way that I first ramped up my reviews. One thing to keep in mind when you're thinking about building your online reputation and reviews, there is no Google police out there that will arrest you and throw you in Google jail if it's a bunch of family and friends that are saying, hey, Sam is of high character, he's a great agent, I'd be glad to work with them. They don't have to lie and say, oh, I had a great closing, when they really didn't, but they can attest to your character, they can attest to your professionalism, or they can just click a star rating and submit. So think about your family, your friends, the people that want to see you succeed in 2022. Those are all fair game in addition to your clients and customers. So this email that I jotted out real quick was an example of something I did in the past when I first started trying to ramp up my online reputation. And it basically was just that. I'd send an email out. The only thing I would change was the name. I didn't want to send a generic email out to like 200 people, because you can feel it when people do that, right? Like, you get an email in your inbox and this has been sent to 100 other people. It's totally impersonal. The chance of me acting on that are not good. So I literally just sent it to one person. I wasn't BCCing, and I did it in groups of like 20 at a time. It only took a few minutes. And I said exactly why I was there. I said, I'm working really hard to grow my business here. One of the ways I'm going to do that is to gain reviews online. It'd mean a lot to me if you'd leave a quick review. And I always would say this too, by the way, if you have a page or someplace you'd like for me to leave you a review, let me know, and I'm glad to do that. Reciprocating that process. And those links that we just talked about, the one for Google, the one for Facebook, I placed them right here. And the last part of the email you'll notice is just me showing a little bit of gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you for taking the time to do this. Short and sweet, not a bunch of paragraphs that they're never going to read, just a couple quick sentences. And it was amazing. I had a return rate of probably about 80% on this simple email, asking past clients, loyal clients and customers, friends and family, and coworkers even, to leave a quick review for me. And the cool thing too was when they'd send back and say, hey, that's a great idea. I'm looking forward to growing my business. That sushi place is a friend of mine's business, and that's why I use it. She responded, said, hey, I should be growing mine too. Would you mind leaving me a quick review? And I went on to do that. So there is a first easy, low-hanging fruit way to get a bunch of reviews real quick. The second thing I want to talk about is using QR codes to drive traffic to your Google or your Facebook or whatever that review platform you want to use is. If you scan this QR code, it's my contact info. Would love to connect with you guys. But this is just an example. There are two places that I like to be able to create QR codes. I have a whole class on this. I'd be glad to come back and talk about it. The first one is flowcode.com. That's what I typically use the most. You can make 10 or 15 of them for free, so you don't have to worry about paying right off the bat. I like them because you can throw a logo in them. You can change the colors. They're circular instead of square, so they stand out a little bit. And also the matrix here, you can change to stars or hearts or dots or squares or other shapes just to make them a little different. So I love the idea of creating a QR code that directs people exactly where you want them to go. Maybe it gets delivered to them. You slide it across the table at closing. I think closing is a great time to ask for a review. It's the one time that all of our clients and customers are in a great mood. They could be upset at the whole world. Everything went wrong. But they're sitting at closing and there's a sense of relief. There's a release of serotonin. They're in a good mood. So that is a great time to ask for reviews. Even for video testimonials, if you're not doing that, that is the perfect time to do that. But having a QR code that directs them exactly where you want them to leave that review is a super convenient way to do that. So if you were to create a QR code and then use the link that we showed at the beginning, either Google, Facebook, or your Zillow page, where would you want to put that? I see a lot of realtors on the back of their card, and you guys, if I ask this question, you could probably drop it in the chat. Like, what's the number one thing that you see on the back of real estate agents' cards? And at the end of the day, that is this little statement, the highest compliment I can receive is a referral to your friends and family, right? I think the highest compliment I can receive, and something that will really help grow my business as well, in addition to that, is a review on Google. So I love the idea of the back of your business card having that quick little QR code that goes straight to your review page. When I first started using QR codes as a real estate agent, I laugh when I think back to what I was doing, because basically I would have hard copy flyers for open houses, brokers opens, things like that. And on the hard copy would be a QR code to a digital copy of the exact same flyer. Like I was giving them the same thing twice because I didn't really have a strategy. So now, obviously, there's tons of things you could do to enhance their experience. It could be a video tour, it could be fact sheets, but it could also be reviews. In the reception area, if you have your own office space, definitely have it there. Business card ads, I think, are something that as a real estate agent, my gosh, I got hit up for a business card ad in some publication or a T-ball flyer or something like that, like every day. And it ended up just being my card, wasn't super engaging. You could throw a QR code in that ad to make it something that's engaging, kind of tech forward, based in old school marketing, which is like a piece of paper, right? So I love replacing business card ads with a little QR code that's kind of engaging. When you're sending your seasonal note cards and your little touch points throughout the year, especially around this time of the year, right? It's the new year. We're excited. We want to see each other succeed. Everyone's saying, new year, new me. I already stopped going to the gym. I actually never got there. I'm sorry. There's a little confession. I never ended up even making it into the gym. So my New Year's resolution is already shot, like probably many of you. But the seasonal note cards this time of the year, it's a time of thankfulness and excitement. That is a great time to ask people to help you make this your best year yet by leaving you a quick review online. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. I don't know all your regulatory and compliance things up there, but in Texas and New Mexico where I was, this would have never been an issue. When I sent out certain mailers, post-closing mailers, for example, a quick little handwritten note to a client that I had closed on a deal with, And I'd send a little Starbucks gift card, say, you just probably finished moving in. You could probably use a double shot. So go ahead and have one on me. And by the way, if you haven't left a quick review, I had my little QR code or just a link on that letter that I would handwrite. I just think there's something about handwritten notes. They stand out. They get a much better response than anything else. But I asked for that review in that moment. And because I gave them, it could be just a little $5 gift card to Starbucks, which is like half a cup of coffee, but at least you're being helpful. But just the fact that you gave them something of value, there's a little bit more of a trigger for them to do that for you. They want to say thanks for buying them a cup of coffee. So there's a good chance that they'll respond with an actual review. But any type of post-close communication that you have, absolutely include some type of plea for a review. If I could say one strategy this year and overall kind of brand awareness, Jeff's going to get into some really awesome stuff when it comes to generating listing leads specifically. But if you were to ask me what's one thing for you to focus on this year to really grow your brand, to make sure that you have a long brand ahead of you in the future based on online reputation, it would absolutely be harnessing as many reviews as you possibly can. Family, friends, clients, customers, everyone you know. You're walking down the street and you see Duncan. Hey, D, leave me a quick review on my Facebook page, please. He will whip out his phone and absolutely do it. So there's just a quick things on that. The last thing I'll talk about for a minute and a half or so is Evergreen Content. If any of you saw Napoleon Dynamite, hopefully you guys are familiar with this guy. This is Uncle Rico that was like, I could throw a football over those mountains over there. He was a bragger. Nobody likes braggers, but people want to know what other people think about businesses. Statistics prove that, right? So it's not being a bragger when you are turning your reviews into pieces of social media content. So let your raving fans tell people how great you are, how great your service is, how responsive you are, how well you negotiated on their behalf, how well you represented them as their agent. Let your raving fans tell that story for you. So a couple quick examples. It is the easiest thing to do. WFG National Title is really good at doing this. All you're going to do is literally copy and paste those reviews straight into, if you go to canva.com, one of my favorite online graphic design tools, if you search quote on Canva or review template, all kinds of review templates will show up. All you're going to do is take, a sentence or two out of their review, first name, last initial, you've created a piece of content. It could be Testimonial Tuesday. It could be Thankful Thursday. One of the most important things when you do something like that is to tag that person. If they're on social and you're going to post that on Facebook or wherever, tag that person. You want all of their friends and family and people connected to them on social to see that as well. It is amazing when you show a little bit of gratitude and say, oh my gosh, Matthew, thank you so much for the kind words. I really appreciate it. Thanks for letting me be of service on your home purchasing journey last year. When you post that and you tag Matthew, it's amazing how many people are connected to Matthew that say, that's right, we really got to start looking. Now's the time. I don't want to wait any longer. And they happen to see your name. They see that their buddy Matthew, their brother Matthew, their friend, their coworker Matthew thought that you did a great job, enough so to leave you a great review. There is a great chance. It's amazing how many people are going to slide into your DMs when you start seeing stuff like that, just pinging you about, hey, I need to get this process started. It is a free way to generate lots of leads. So absolutely be doing that. And when you do, don't forget to tag. The last thing I'll say on reviews is we are so busy in today's world. There's so much going on. All of us have a ton on our plate. And so at the end of the day, I think we forget one thing a lot, and that is to show a little bit of gratitude to the people that are helping us succeed in life and in our careers. So when somebody leaves a review for you, whether it's on Google or Facebook or Zillow, at the very least, comment on that review, thanking them for taking the time to do that. I love the idea of jotting down a quick handwritten note or picking up a call or even putting together a little swag pack with your company swag in it and sending it to them, just thanking them for taking the time to do that. That will absolutely stick out. That will show that it meant something to you for them to take the time to do that. And that will keep them coming back for decades to come. So that is a little bit about reviews. And I'm going to toss it over to Jeff now for session 2. And again, take all the notes you want, but at the end of the day, you're going to have a copy of each and every one of these presentations in your inbox later today. So fear not.
Try that now. There we go. I was locked down in mute hell. There we go. Go. Awesome. I know everyone got locked down. I was included in that. Good morning, everybody. That's all right. The beauty of Zoom. We're here. All right, great. My name is Jeff Lobb. I'm thrilled to be here too. I'm a partner of WFG. I'm also a real estate sales and marketing coach. We work with real estate agents, teams, and brokerages across the country, and thrilled to be here today. So I want to talk about a couple things. Short, hopefully nuggets that'll help you. I like to focus on listings. My career in real estate is always really wrapped around listing inventory and then building teams around that. Once you have inventory, it solves a lot of problems. And, in this market right now, it's tough to get inventory. I get it. 95% of the US and even into the Canadian markets, our current clients are strapped for finding inventory. So I'm going to give you a couple ideas. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Feel free to ask questions when we're done. But for time purposes, let me kind of jump right in. What I'll do is I'll quick screen share. And let's make sure we can see my screen. I'm going to go full screen here. Give me a thumbs up. You got my screen. Good. Awesome. All right. You'll have my information at the end. This is not about me. Here's where I want to start. Is this first section is going to be about how to kind of tap into more of our sphere of influence and our past clients. The second session I do after Sam's round 2 is done is going to be talking about how to leverage some Facebook strategies to prospect easier for listing opportunities. So I'm going to cover both. The first things first is I think we as an industry have a real challenge with connecting with our past clients, keeping that human relationship. And I think when Sam was saying it, I kind of laughed because Sam said on the back of most business cards, we a lot of times see, nothing better than a referral to me. I would love a great referral from, past friends and clients. We always see that on the back of a business card about the best way to help them with their business is a referral. And yet I always ask the question, what do we do to earn that referral? Because after we're done with transactions, if our sphere and our past clients haven't really heard from us in a human way, and I'm not talking just digital now, I'm talking human, we tend to lose that referral business and we get frustrated that 5 years down the road, they listed with somebody else, or why did my friend recommend somebody else top of mind? And it's happened to all of us. It's happened to me. And it's frustrating, and we're losing thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars of referral business that we never see we missed. Remember that we never saw we missed it. That's the biggest challenge, because if you knew you missed $60, $70, $80,000 in referral business, you'd be really upset and you would change the process you have now. So I want to take this outside the real estate world for a second. And I do this comparison, and this will hopefully make sense to you. If I asked you live, and I won't do this now for communication purposes, trying to unmute everybody, but if I asked you, what does Apple do? Why is Apple, whether you're an Apple fanboy or not, and I happen to be one, but you don't have to be in this scenario, right? Why are they a multi-billion-dollar company? What makes them successful? And when I hear the different answers, and there's really no right or wrong, what I hear is, they have amazing marketing, or they've got a beautiful product, or their experience is wow, and their packaging and whatever it is, or that everything syncs to each other, whatever. All correct answers. Maybe that's why you may or may not do business with them. But here's what I really find is the unique niche is they're not just a computer, a phone, a device, a TV, a watch, an app. They're not any of that. They've created an entire ecosystem. They've created an ecosystem where we are reliant upon going into that ecosystem to get everything we need on a daily basis. So here's the point. If I need my email, I go here. If I need a phone, here. If I need search, here. If I need a camera, here. Video, here. Get the point? Everything's here. It's funneling me in as the value of why I go to them. Yes, it all syncs together, but no matter what it's forcing me in because they have the value of having all of that stuff. Now, keeping that in mind, let's bring this to real estate. Real estate, the challenge is this. If you made a phone call to a client, and if you're new in the business, you don't have clients that are 3, 4, 5 years old already that you've sold something to, just envision this because you're facing it in the next couple of years anyway. You have a client, you're really, other than sending maybe a calendar to, or a postcard to, or a digital marketing piece to, or a monthly newsletter to, they haven't really heard from you as a person, a family member, a community member. You called them and said, hey, it's Jeff Lobb from XYZ Realty, and I'm just touching base to see how you're doing, and hopefully you're feeling well. After the little chit chat's over, what do you think they're thinking? In their mind, they're saying to themselves, oh, it's my real estate guy or gal. We're not looking to buy or sell. We're good. Like, that's nice you called, but we're not moving. They don't think we have any other value beyond buy, sell, and lease and rent. And that's the problem. We don't have an ecosystem where we show we have way more value than just buy, sell, lease, or rent, right? So that's where we have to solve this problem. And this is where we're going to, if you really can focus on this, these are things we enhance and build with clients, but at the same time, you've got to find a way, and we'll show you some ideas of how to change that thought process. So here's proof that that's happening. And it makes me nuts because I see this daily. Like, it truly makes me nuts. I can go on Facebook at any given time and go into any one of my local community groups that I belong to many. And I can see a post like this on the left-hand side. Hey, I'm looking for a plumber, possibly come out today or tomorrow to unfreeze a kitchen sink. Or, hey, I'm looking for an electrician. Or, hey, I'm looking for a new housekeeper. Now, here's a homeowner. I'm just picking this particular one, but I know this particular person, and they closed on their home 2 years ago. 2 years. Not my client, but I know the client. And what I say to myself is, you are going to Facebook to vet strangers. Why didn't you call your realtor? Because they don't believe, or they're not aware that their real estate agent has value beyond buy, sell, lease, and rent. So this is the problem. They're going to vet strangers over calling their main resource that should be all things real estate. Now, I'm not saying just take your whole list of vetted, oh, I got my whole list of vendors. Here they are. What I'm talking about is consistent content that shows not only their local expert, but you have the resources to be all things real estate, everything to do with their home, every direction of their home. And that's where we have to kind of set the tone and share content on a monthly, weekly, social media basis that shows this. And we'll give you some examples. The one thing that I put up here just as a fun scenario, which a lot of people don't think about. If I could, I'm going to try and look at a show of hands. I'm going to put up the grid and see, by show of hands, how many of you go to Pinterest if you were going to plan an event, or like, if anybody knows who's getting married, somebody's getting married, how many go to Pinterest? Like, oh my God, like that's like the go-to, like you got, if you were going to renovate a kitchen and you want ideas, who's going to Pinterest, right? So yeah, look at the hands, right? So we go to Pinterest as like the forgotten social world to find all these amazing ideas so we can find out new colors. And I get Pinterest. My wife sends me Pinterest clips like, check out this beautiful kitchen. This is what I want. Awesome. Great. Why wouldn't we use some of that cool stuff for our content for our clients to show them cool things they could be doing with their home? Like, let me tell you this, like simple, 21 brilliant hidden storage ideas for your home. Now, I've got 6 kids. Anytime you want to show me how to like create better storage or organization, or give me a man cave to go hide to, or do something, I'm going to pay attention to you. Now, just sharing stuff is not the end all to human connection, but these are ideas that you don't have to go think and recreate the wheel, because the content's already created. You need to create the touch that says, hey, I was thinking about you. Here's some ideas for your home looking forward. So this is the kind of thought process we need to have. Now, to go back to this ecosystem, what else can we send? How do we become that local expert? Because you are the local expert. And if you haven't acknowledged that yet, that's what you're supposed to be. So we might as well live and practice what we preach. And I can't wait to get to my second version of this, because that's really where I built my core business from, and I'll share with you. But for here, what I want to do is share you custom content that some of our clients are sharing that get engagement, because not only it creates local community, it creates the awareness of our own clients recognizing things in their own market. So it's not generic. Generic stuff is just digital junk mail. I hate to say it, but if you need to send me something that tells me I need to clean my gutters, or it's time to change my clock, or it's time to do something else besides the other 50 that I get in the same email batch, like it's junk mail. Like, I don't know. It's just like throwing crap in my box. I don't have a clock anymore. We don't have clocks. Like my phone just changes. It always changes. You don't need to remind me of it. But when it comes to specific things, here's an example. Like I'm in North Jersey, right? So you guys are in the Northeast. So in this case, right around, this was like a September, October-ish, November thing. But everything around here is like, where are you taking the kids for apple picking? Where are we going pumpkin picking? Where's the thing we're going to do on the weekends and have our little getaway to the country? You guys do that too. So why not create a guide? And this was a guide. Now, keep in mind, this is a digital piece of content I'm taking a screenshot of, but it's also shared on social and some other places. Who wants our apple picking guide? And what's cool is, as Sam was sharing, like Google and everything's about being local. When people can see things that are local to their own area. So for example, if I see this coming into my digital box and it's like Demarest Farms, it's like, oh my God, we haven't been there in years. We should try that again. Or, hey, we should go get ice cream at Allsted Farms. They have homemade ice cream. It brings that local touch to A, you're sharing the local businesses in the community. B, I could relate to it. So it's local to my area. And B, it's giving me stuff I could actually go do. Right? Because that's the time of the year. So we've got people that are creating content wrapped around like fun festive things to do. Here's how to create apple cocktails. And then if you want to go pumpkin picking, here's another pumpkin picking piece of content with photos and links. Now, keep in mind, all this stuff is available on Google. Like, you don't have to go searching hard for it. You just got to put it together into a pretty marketing piece with either Canva or any of the preferences you have. But the content now shows the local stuff. Could you do the same thing? And remember, I have, like Sam, I have a whole presentation on this, but couldn't you do this with, these are my 3 favorite places in town to get burgers. These are my 3 favorite places to go do this. Hey, if you happen to need chiropractic care, these are my 2 or 3 favorite chiropractors to go to in town. Why couldn't you do it for all? Why couldn't you do it for all things real estate? Why couldn't you highlight your vendors in a different way than just saying, here's a list, right? And I know it's hard to sometimes not favor, but remember, your biggest potential referral base is not just your end user for referrals. It's also going to be your vendors that you're referring business to. It's a two-way street. I just saw someone send me a direct message that someone lived in Mahwah. That's awesome. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sharing, these are actually some of my clients. I live in West Jersey now. So this is the kind of content we're talking about. Now, let me go a little further. There can also be something, and I'll tell you, this actually hit me as a local resident, because I don't care how many years, maybe I will tell you how many years I'm in real estate. I'll show you my gray hair. 36 years I've had a real estate license. So doesn't matter. You have to always be a student. So when you could relate to yourself as a homeowner and not being a real estate agent, it's different. So we have people that are creating content about what's happening in your town too. And it may sound crazy, but think about our crazy lifestyles right now. I'm very busy. We're all very busy. We're chasing things all day long. We barely have time we don't watch TV anymore. We watch streaming TV. We skip past commercials. We do all this other stuff. That being said, if I got digital content that said, here's some happenings that are happening in your area, either what's a thing to do with the kids on weekends when it's raining or snowing? Hey, did you know there's going to be a comedy night and this comedian's coming to town? That's what got my attention. We had a small movie theater converted years ago. I don't have time to see what's playing or who's showing up at the movie theater. But one of my favorite comedians actually came to small town America, like, I don't know, 7-8 months ago. I had no idea, but I got a piece of digital content from one of my realtor clients in the area. And I'm like, oh my God, I love this person. I can't wait to go see it. So to me, value, like, I'll look forward to the next one they send me now, because it might be something I want to do. So imagine actually looking forward to someone's content versus going, oh, another piece of crap. Part of my language, but that's sometimes how it's perceived. So local content about what's really happening now. Another way to share that, right? So we can evolve content. And these are just some samples of, happenings or Morris County happenings. You can make your own theme, your own title, just giving you names of some of our clients' stuff because they were willing to allow me to share it with others, right? 2 quick things, and I'll turn back to Sam. From a sphere of influence thing, I came across 2 cool companies out there doing some cool stuff that I had not seen before. One is Lolo Gifts. What I like about them is if they have at least a certain group of people in your area, they will come to your market. Like, I don't know if it's 500 emails. You basically create an email list of your VIP clients. Let's say you got 50. They'll come to a market when they have 500, but as a group, you can do it yourself. So let's say 50. They will go to your local marketplace and find local giveaways, meaning go get, 2 free beers at the brewery, go get 2 free pizzas at the whatever, but they'll go and create the vendor value from your local community, create the marketing for you, and then send the marketing to your VIP list of thank yous and offerings from your community for you at a ridiculously low price. Now, they won't come to a community until they have a certain amount, but if you guys get together, to me, I like it because it's local community offerings in your backyard that you're sending to your local clients. So really cool and meaningful. And at a higher level, Client Giant, started doing some business with them myself. Doesn't mean you have to be super extreme in giving away gifts and money. And that's not what it's about. It's about the personalization and concierge of giving something meaningful to somebody, post close or sphere, or someone that's referred to you 2 people or 3 people. Because if you're not appreciative, and as Sam said it, being grateful for that, no disrespect, but they probably know 2 other realtors they can give it to. It's not like, others don't know other people. So we have to think about creating this ecosystem, right? How do we create value on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to show our clients that we are way more than buy, sell, lease, and rent? And that'll build your huge referral-based business. I'll give this at the end too. And I know Sam has his QR code stuff up, but if you just need my contact in between here, and I'll send that the other one, take a quick snapshot of that, or just go to jefflobb.social. I took a dot out of there. I got to put it back. Just my own contact information if you need me beyond this. And coming back after Sam's done, I'm going to show you some Facebook strategies to prospect businesses tied to the similar concept we just shared. All right, cool. Sam, back to you, bud.
Awesome. Thanks so much. So many valuable tips there. I love one thing that Jeff said towards the end, and it's a word that I think can encompass our strategy and what we should be trying to create. It's not about processes. It's about experiences, the way we make our clients and customers feel. So I love the idea of concierge, like you are their go-to one-stop shop for all things real estate and community. Right?
Yeah, real quick, I'm just looking at a comment saying, I don't know if to be specific, he sent to everyone, but you could be the home services guy like I am for our clients. Like you need to be in that core business. Real quick, and Sam, I want to turn over because I have a story that 2 seconds. Because I have a realtor client. She did 100 transactions herself this year. And she's got such a community connection with her clients that she sent me this message because she couldn't believe how influential this is. She had a client that had a 2-year-old child. And the phone call was this. Hi, so-and-so. It's Mary. You sold me a home, 6 months ago, 8 months ago. I know you know a lot of people in town. My pediatric doctor is retired and moved to the Carolinas. My 2-year-old's not feeling well. Can you refer me to a pediatric doctor? She called her realtor to find a pediatric doctor for her 2-year-old. That to me shows such a valuable ecosystem and resource. Imagine if you got those phone calls for anything. That's the power of influence we need to be successful. So that story just hit me home. Sam, I'm back to you.
100%. And what are the chances that realtor is ever going to have the feeling that I had a couple times in the past when I had sold somebody a house, and just like you said at the beginning, I drove by a year and a half later and there was a sign in the front yard and it wasn't mine. She is never not going to be that realtor for that family. And one thing I would say too, before I talk a little bit about video, I have a really close personal friend of mine that just moved to Morristown, like probably 7 or 8 months ago. She's an executive with ADP, works out of New York City, 2 awesome boys that she has. And we forget, I think, when we live someplace, we're ingrained. We know the places to go for certain things. We know the people to call for certain things. She didn't have the time or the resources to find all that stuff. But I'll tell you what, she has fallen in love with her real estate agent and a handyman that her real estate agent connected her to that had literally helped navigate everything. Apples are big up there. I live in West Texas. We got cactuses and tumbleweeds. I don't know anything about apple picking, but you guys love apples up there. So, all of those types of events, things to take her kids to, she has become totally reliant on those people for introducing her to the community and showing her ways to spend quality time with her family. So I think although we forget it because we're used to what's around us regularly because we've lived in the same community a long time in my case, but not everybody does. So sharing that information I think is super valuable. I am going to share my screen and talk about one of my other favorite things, and that is video. So video is one of those things that I use religiously. I really have to give a shout out to video for helping me in my career and get me to where I am today. There's no way I'd be here without it. There's no way I would have developed the client relationships that I have to this day without it. So if you're not using it, We need to get out of our own way, which is usually the thing that keeps us from using it. We're, I don't like my voice, or I don't like the way I look. I mean, look at the bags. Janelle is on this call. She sent me some stuff last year to try and take care of this. Janelle, not working. It's not working. Look at this. But I am who I am. I sound how I sound. I look how I look. And this is me. So I love to leverage video to create relationships. And the proof is in the pudding. 85% of all internet users in the US watch video content daily across every type of device, right? If they're on their laptop, if they're on their TV, we're streaming something. If I'm on my phone, I'm watching video. So this is the type of content that our clients and customers are digesting every single day. And it's their favorite type of content. Animoto ran a study at the end of 2020. And these numbers have all gone up, by the way, because of the pandemic, people spending more time on their devices, trying to find other ways to connect. But according to Animoto, video is consumers' favorite type of content when they're scrolling their socials by a lot. How can I prove that? Well, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, every other, and even Google My Business, because you can post to Google My Business like a social platform. If you didn't know that, you can post to it, which you should be doing if you have a Google My Business page. But all of them serve up video first. Why? They want people to stay on their platforms. They want people to spend more time on their platforms, so they serve up the most engaging content they can. And in their mind, it's video. So the proof is absolutely in the pudding that video is where we should be. And like I said, the hardest thing is to get out of our own way. I am me, you are you. We sound loud we sound, look, and speak totally differently. And I think that's kind of the spice of life. I'm scrolling through some of the images here. I'm, waving. I see some of you on camera, a lot of you. We all look different. We all sound different. We all bring different things to the table. And video, next to meeting in person, which just like today, unfortunately, we weren't able to do, video is the second best thing. I can look you in the eye. You can hear my voice. You can see my face. You can see my mannerisms. You can see the bags under my eyes that Janelle's cream did not fix. But it's a great way to be able to connect. One thing right off the bat, I'm going to talk a little bit about some tips and tricks, a little bit about some of my favorite editing things. And again, I literally have a class for each and every one of these. So reach out to Dave, reach out to Tina, your favorite person at Guarantee Rate Affinity, and let them know what you'd like to see next, and I'll definitely be back. So the first thing about video is there's two things, lighting and sound. So lighting, if I can't really see you very well, or you're kind of dark, it can be totally distracting. So lighting is super important. You'll notice I'm lit up like a Christmas tree right now, and the sun actually just came over the mountain. So probably soon I'll have like the shadows from my blinds or something over my face. So that'll be great. But lighting is really important. So you can see the difference here before and after. You can actually see what type of light she's using in the irises of her eyes there. And that's a ring light. I have one on right now. You'll notice if I turn it off, things change quite a bit. You can see it's a pretty big difference when I turn that off. A ring light is a great way to be able to make sure that you're not in the dark. You're not too bright. You can adjust it, but you're not too dark either. It can be really distracting when you're watching a video and you're having a hard time seeing the person. I have an uncle that built his own house by hand, and he always said that it's not a project if you don't buy a tool. So in the marketing world, which is what you guys do professionally to grow your business, this is a great tool that I have that I use constantly. Little ring light. It has all kinds of different settings. And then it comes with a little Bluetooth remote. This is one of my favorite tools there is. I use it constantly so that no one has to start or stop my camera, and I don't have to be running back and forth. This remote will start and stop video, can take pictures from afar. So really you could use this if you were taking some pre-listing pictures and things like that. But this little kit's like 20 bucks on Google. It's something I use all the time. So again, not a project if you don't buy a tool. So absolutely, if you don't have a ring light and a little Bluetooth remote, go out there and get one. So our phones have great microphones on them now. They're really good at canceling ambient sounds. Even the front-facing camera has a pretty good microphone in today's world. If you want to take it to a next level, because at the end of the day, there's a reason why the "Can you hear me now" commercial has become so prevalent. Sound is pretty important in a video, just like lighting, right? If I can't hear you very well, or it's kind of jumbled, or you're really quiet, or you're super loud, all of those things can be a little bit distracting. So I've taken it to another level. This is just a $20 boom mic. It absolutely competes with some of the Rode and other brands that are like $200. So your phone microphone is good. A shotgun mic is even better. And one thing to think about, it's kind of like how I'm speaking right now. Am I speaking loudly to make sure that you can hear me clearly? Absolutely. But am I yelling at you? I hope not. So speak loudly, make sure I can hear you, but don't yell at me. Sometimes the two things I see the most often are people speaking way too quietly and I have a hard time hearing them and it makes it distracting, or people that are like, hey, welcome to my new listing. And you're like, oh my gosh, like, why are you mad at me? So be somewhere in between, speak loud enough for me to hear me, or for you to hear me, but don't yell at me. We don't have an excuse not to do video anymore. It used to be like, oh, I don't have a really good camera. And so, I don't want it to look bad. We used to laugh. If you were anything like me, I would laugh when I saw people recording all kinds of videos with their cell phone back in the day. I was like, what are these clowns doing? Now I don't use my DSLR camera. All I use is my cell phone. It works fantastically. We don't have an excuse anymore. Your professional camera is now in your pocket. That said, there's a couple settings to be aware of to help make the process a little bit easier. So I wanted to talk about those really briefly. So this is Apple, this is Android. One of the things that you can do to make sure that you're in a good position on the screen is to turn on the grid. And basically, to shorten the presentation, I deleted the picture, but basically it creates 3 columns and 3 rows across your screen so you can see exactly where you are to make sure you're in a good position on the screen. Where those, imaginary lines meet is kind of the center of the screen, which is where you typically want to be. That's where our eyes focus automatically. This is how you turn them on. Under camera settings, there's a little grid button, and all you got to do is click that on, and it's the same thing on Android. So it's a great way to make sure that you're in a good part of the screen so that you're going to be seen very well. So in today's, in today's world, we can shoot in 4K, full on 4K with these devices. That is totally unnecessary. The file sizes are massive. So being able to send them to somebody or upload them is going to take forever if you can do it at all. So one thing that I think you need to be aware of is when you go into video settings on either Android or Apple, make sure that at the most, when you're recording video, you're at 1080, 30 frames a second. Really, this 720 would probably be fine. Anything over that, 1080, 60 frames, any of the 4K, these are going to be massive files. They're going to be hard to send. They're going to take forever to upload, really hard to text because they're so massive. So this is a great way to keep those file sizes small enough that you're not getting the warning that I'm used to getting all the time that I'm like running out of space, which I hate that when my phone is like, sorry, you have no more space. So this is a great way to avoid that when you're shooting video. So this is one of my biggest pet peeves. People talk about it all the time, and Instagram and TikTok absolutely ruined this for me. And so I'm so mad. I'm just kidding. Those are the only reasons why you're ever going to want to go vertical like this. If you're doing an Instagram story or something like that, it's a lot easier to repurpose video that was shot in 16:9 or horizontal than it is to repurpose video that was shot vertically, right? When you go, if you were to go to edit it or upload it, it's a lot easier to do. So I say for our purposes, we want as much field of view as possible. And so I shoot horizontally for the most part, unless I'm doing a story or something. So again, thanks a lot, Instagram and Zuckerberg, for ruining that for me. I think staying genuine is the most important thing when you're using video. I'm going to say that right off the bat. Sound how you sound, look how you look. We're not Spielberg, we're not professional actors, so we're not supposed to be. That said, if you want to button things up for a home tour, for example, or for an event coming up, some of the things that Jeff talked about, another piece of that content could be you talking about the Apple Festival coming up, or maybe interviewing the owner of one of those farms. That's a great way to get some great collaboration and virality into your social media. Include other people. They're going to want to share it with their clients and customers. It's a great way to grow your market expertise. But if you want to, kind of dress up things a little bit more, these are two of my favorite apps. They're super simple. I am not a professional by any means, but I do it all the time. And frankly, they look pretty good. And I saw that, Letitia, absolutely, during Jeff's session. I will put a link for that mic down in the comments below. So Quick is a great app. It's by GoPro. It is so simple. Even if it was pictures of a listing, you could select the pictures that you want and it will edit them together. You can put overlays of text if you wanted to on them. But even just with pictures, this is a great app for you guys to mess with. So I would recommend Quick for sure. But with video, you can literally go through, select the videos that you want to use, trim them super easily. It will edit them automatically, add music to them automatically. You have several styles you can select from. With one click, it edits them together, and it's a really cool semi-professional looking video. Clips is automatically on your iPhone if you have an iPhone, and that's probably one of my top 5 favorites, but Quick is for sure my favorite to be able to edit video. A couple more things. The last thing I want to talk about is delivery. So if you've created a video, this may seem obvious, but now what do I do with it? Okay, delivery is important. We could have the best video in the world, but if we don't know what to do with it, it's not going to really matter. So Jeff's going to talk about Facebook strategies after this. Obviously, one of the first things to think about is to post to social media. You can reuse this video content, whether it's talking about an upcoming event, whether it's congratulating clients or customers on a closing or a relocation, whatever it might be. You can use it for more things than just one. Always be thinking that. You can repurpose content, and content is all around you. You are living it every day. You can message these through social media. One of my favorite things to do to be able to get the attention or regain the attention of a client or customer or a prospect was to use video. A lot of people may be hitting somebody up on LinkedIn or Facebook or somewhere like that. But when's the last time that somebody dropped a video in your DMs introducing themselves or asking for that appointment, looking you in the face, saying your name? It's very different. At the end of the day, one thing that I think is a really great kind of a long-term lead generation strategy too is LinkedIn is really cool. Have a whole class on that too. Jeff and I go back and forth on whether or not it's getting so spammy that we're like annoyed with it. I still use it a lot though. LinkedIn, you could, if I wanted to become the go-to realtor for a specific company, right? I wanted to be the person that every time somebody was moving in or out of town with XYZ company, I'm the one they thought of. I used to strategize on stuff like that. And I'd try to have meetings with managers and stuff like that to be, made their preferred realtor. An easy way to do that. And you could do this today. What is that company nearby that you want to be their go-to realtor? You can go to LinkedIn. When you search that company, it will literally show a link at the top of the page that says, view 50 employees of XYZ company here. You click that link, you can connect with all of those people, and you could drop them a little video straight into their DM. They're used to getting spammy messages from people trying to sell them, auto warranties and stuff like that. They're not used to someone popping in and saying, hey, Letitia, it's me, Sam. I wanted to quickly introduce myself. So I can do that using video. It totally stands out from the crowd. It's totally different. Of course, via text, email. I used to like to congratulate my buyers and sellers when we had finally reached a deal, when we were selling or buying for them via video. I would take a, I would take a quick video and text it to them. And, I always did the good news, bad news thing. I mean, I've got good news and I've got bad news. The bad news is you're going to have a mortgage. The good news is we got the house, right? Or whatever it might be. So I did video a lot through text and email. There's a bunch of different video delivery platforms. One of them is called BombBomb. You can track everything. So you could do a quick video. You could open up, do a quick video, send it via BombBomb. It could be about market updates, and you could literally put a little call to action on the video that says, what's my home worth now? ? And as soon as anybody clicks on that, you could send them to one of your websites or a splash page or whatever, but you're going to get a notification. This person clicked, what's my home worth? In today's world where values have been through the roof over the last several months, people are curious and they don't really know in some cases just how much their value has appreciated. So by sending out a video where you're talking to them a little bit about market statistics, a little call to action like that, when they click that, these people are thinking potentially about selling their home. And these are free, simple, easy ways to get those listing leads without having to pay a ton of money to Zillow or whatever, which are still great strategies. But If it's free, it's spot on me. So again, anything that's trackable, I like, which is why I like BombBomb. I can see who watched my video. I know how long they watched it. I know what links they clicked. I know if they forwarded it. I know if they watched it more than once. All of those things are important to know so that you can connect with your clients and customers in the most valuable way. So this is the last time I'll put this up here before I toss back to Jeff for the last session of the day. This is a quick QR code. If it's up on your screen, whip out your phone, scan it. I'd love to connect via social. My contact information is there. Text me, call me, tweet me, Facebook me, whatever. I'm here and really excited to be with Guaranteed Rate Affinity and be of service any way I can. So again, that is my contact information the last time. And I will toss it back over to Jeff to bring it home. The man, the myth, the legend. By the way, this is the very first time I've ever gotten to be alongside Jeff and actually presenting or something. And no joke, probably 8 or 9 years ago, he came to El Paso, gave a presentation. I fanboyed out afterwards and was quizzing him about all kinds of stuff. So I'm really excited for the Q&A because I know—
You remember that? You remember that from 9 years ago, man? Holy
Yeah,
cow.
man.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm probably just going to sit back during the Q&A, but don't forget, we'll have a Q&A after this. And Jeff is one of those minds that if you get the chance to ask a couple questions, you should absolutely do it. So I'll pass it back over to you, my friend.
My pleasure. And thank you for having me on today too. We were getting such great comments, Sam, on the stuff that you're sharing. I'm watching the thread. I'm getting people connecting me through my social media app. I'm texting people here while we're doing this. So let's, I know time is valuable, right? So I want to make sure you get value too. I took some notes on Sam's stuff too. I was jotting stuff down. I want to share with you the last thing about one of the things that I actually did in my own personal business pre-Facebook, before it was born, now evolved into Facebook, that we can do. If I had to ask this question, one of the biggest challenges is, are you getting more engagement on your personal Facebook page or on your business page? And it's an obvious answer: more personal than business, right? That business page has become a bit of a thorn. And look, respectfully, it's built for a business. So there's still some value here. Let me just make sure we understand it, because we get frustrated with the business page. We get no engagement. We post stuff. It's like the definition of insanity, where we post a listing, we get no engagement. We get like 1 like, no likes. And then we do it again next week and we still get 1 like or no like. And then we do it again. And I'm like, why are we doing this? So here's some thoughts. There's some value to that Facebook page. It's a public page. It's still found on Google. So it is going to get found in your search. So whether you like it or not, I know Sam is huge on these, on Google reviews. Hence, also, if they find your Facebook business page, it's going to get looked at from a reputational standpoint, whether we like it or not. If you have it up there, it will get found. B, it's good for advertising to run Facebook ads. It's the only way to do it. And third, which is my favorite way, I personally use it to prospect, or would use it to prospect. I don't practice day-to-day real estate anymore. We just coach. But here's what happened. I'll share with you my screen, share with you the fun joke of WWJD. What would Jeff do? And I get asked that all the time. Like, if I dropped you in the middle of Denver, Colorado, if I dropped you in the middle of, and you had to start selling real estate today, what's one of the things you would start to do? And let's face it, I don't care how many years experience I have. It really doesn't matter. If I have to start from scratch, I have to start from scratch. There's no magic pill. I don't have that. All I know is I know the activities I have to do to go get the business. And I too would probably hire a coach to hold me accountable, to push me to go do the things that make me uncomfortable, that's going to make me money. That being said, here's where it evolved. Let me do a quick screen share, and then you can confirm you see it, so I'm not talking to a blank screen. I was really strong. Thank you. I was really strong on marketing with intention. And I look at, farming, and you could call it geo farming today. I don't care what kind of tech spin you want. The goal is I have to find an area that has a lot of churn, a lot of activity, a lot of sales activity, and find out how to create dominance in that area. That doesn't mean I'm not going to sell something 40 minutes each direction, or take a buyer to an $800,000 property one way or another. I will go wherever I have to go. However, the core foundation, and I'm a big believer of having multiple streams or multiple markets of referral sources, because one's just not going to cut it. You got to start somewhere. So my intention is, first, find that market area that has a lot of churn. Know the numbers, meaning how many have sold, how many active. And then more importantly, the next strategy, and I know this takes more time than like 3 minutes of saying it, is know who's in that market. Meaning, I want to look at all the past solds, how many sold, is there enough activity there, and who is doing the selling? And you're going to see two things. You're going to see Random agents, meaning one name brand, one name brand, one name brand, random. No one has dominance, where you're going to see one name brand and then 1 out of every 5 is the same name or the same team has a little more dominance. That does not mean I'm not going to tap into that market. Do not be intimidated with that, because let's face it, even if just because someone says they're a 36-year veteran doesn't mean I'm always going to be the best person in that marketplace. If you're a 2-year rookie, you could go in, because let's face it, sometimes top producers will not follow up as much, be too busy, not give the time and attention, not necessarily always doing an expert job. So it's like, I look at real estate like a sport sometimes. Is if I have to go play a team next weekend, I'm going to study film. I want to know everything about them. So if you were that person in that marketplace that has a little more dominance, no disrespect, I love you, I'll do business with you, but I also want to know what you're really good at and what you're not. Maybe you're not doing video. Maybe you're not doing, virtual tours. Maybe you're not doing this, that, or the other thing, staging. And I'm going to find out how to compete with you nicely and respectfully. That being said, here's what I also learned. That back in 1988, when I did knock on those doors in a gold jacket, looking like Doogie Howser walking down the street at age 19, and it was a mustardy gold jacket back then, eventually people opened the door and talked to you. They did. They talked to you. Now, do I love knocking on doors? No, I didn't love it. Do I love just cold calling? No, I don't love it. Did I have to do it, and would I do some of it? Maybe. Here's what I also knew. How do I get to know all these people? Because if every one of these, let's call it 600 homes in this subdivision, knew Jeff Lobb, knew I was a great realtor, knew my marketing, and yeah, they might have gotten my postcard or they got my drops, but how do they really get to know me more? How do I get referrals from these people when they don't know me? My choice was to go outside and say, okay, who else knows these people? Where do they go? When they leave that house, where do they go before work? Where do they go on weekends? Where do I find the people when they leave their homes? So I chose pre-Facebook, and I would do it with Facebook. And here's the strategy, is I would find the local business owners that serve this area. Meaning, where do they go get their coffee in the mornings? How do I do business there? Where are they going to order pizza from? Who's delivering to that area? What are the places they go and do? So I chose to market myself to businesses with a value proposition that built a referral base second to none. Here's the play. How do I go deeper into my community in that one market area versus trying to go wide, right? You can always get wider when you get Zillow leads and you got buyers all over the place, but I had to find one focus. And if you're in a market where you say, hey, Jeff, I have a farm area that I do have 10, 20% market share in. Awesome. Guess what we do next? We duplicate it. We go do it somewhere else. And we do the next one because it's not brain surgery once you do it. So here's the thought. Before Facebook was born, I just used a website. I had call it a blog or whatever the heck we had back then. And it was just a page. So me knowing that the local business owners or the sub shops or all the locals, not the big franchise people, the local people that knew and had 30 people of my neighbors that's in that community standing in line every day waiting for coffee, lunch, or whatever it is, they knew all of them. So I would walk into my first one. I tell the story all the time. It was a pizzeria. They're still around. And they were new owners. And I walked in and said, hey, I'm Jeff Lobb. At the time, I think I was with Remax. Hey, I'm with Remax. Listen, we built a page. Now, today would be a Facebook page talking about all of the best of Hampton Township, all of the best of the area. And I think you guys do a really good job. I would love to promote your pizzeria, caterer, bagel shop, coffee shop on my page that I could share with all of my real estate clients. I would love to promote you to my real estate clients and to my real estate audience. Would that be okay? And that script was something very simple. I would just love to promote you. I think you guys do an amazing job to all of my real estate clients. And he was a young gentleman, husband and wife. He said to me, he looked at me first, and this was the true answer. He was a young Italian guy. He gave me the New Jersey Italian response. Well, that sounds great, but what's it going to cost? And I didn't have an answer or a script. Just what came out of my face at that moment sounded really good. And I'm going to continue to use it. I just said, no, we don't sell you anything. I'm a real estate agent. And if you're a new agent and you can't say I sell a lot, we sell a lot of real estate in the area. And my real estate clients are always looking for someplace new to go and try and do. I just want to send more people to you. Is that okay? Like, yeah, what do you got to do? Now, back then, might have been take a photo or with my BlackBerry or something back then. Today, open up that phone and you let them know, hey, listen, let's do a little video later. Let's do a little interview. Let's get a post going. Let me learn more about your business. I'm bringing value first. Here's what I didn't do. Oh, but you got to stick my business cards on your counter, or you got to put me up on your cork board or something in the front lobby area. I don't care about any of that. What I want to do is get to know you as a human being, because that's prospecting. I also know, thousands of people I don't. I want to tap into your contact, your database, your people, so I can get referrals from you. I also know, all the people in my farm area because you deliver every day to all of them, right? First name basis. So what I chose to do is do that. Now, today's play with the Facebook page is this. You have a page, but you know what? You keep your personal page for you. It's a Google Play, right? It's up there. It's live. Go create something unique. You could put your profile in there. You're not hiding. You're not a real estate agent. Go play it and put it in your profile, but make the page about the community. Make the page about the best of wherever you live, and make it wide enough so you're not super niche. But here's an example, not necessarily the best of, but here's one that's called All Marblehead. Same concept. I would have been like the best of Marblehead. Good idea. And you guys know it's up in New England, right? So it's not like, but it's a page that's built from, let's say, a real estate agent. I think he's got 15, 16, 18,000 people on there now as a business page. Everything happening in that community. Now, I would personally seek out one or two businesses every week or two, find 2 a month. And it's not just about the content that goes on your page, because remember, that page is not going to give you the algorithm you love that's going to get all these likes and shares. But here's what happens. I do a little photo selfie with that business owner. I get to know that business owner. I stop back and have lunch there. I do a video snippet after hours with them. A, they get good marketing content. B, I get good marketing content. C, I look like the local expert to my community because I know all things about the people in the community. And then D, it's prospecting with very little rejection. Because if I offer value like that to somebody, 99% of the people will be like, yeah, I'd love for you to promote me. How do we do that? What human being is walking into a local entrepreneur right now that's offering to help people at no charge and value promote them without fees, charges, or asking for money? So I, as the local expert, leverage the prospecting. Here's what it really did for my business back when I started this with intent is I became like a household name to them. I'd walk in there just in general, and you pop in once a month. Oh, hey, my real estate guy's here. And he would point me out in front of the whole line of people. Be like, come on in the back. I want to show you. I got cannolis in the back. Come on. Like, I became like a family member. I did this with my Dunkin' Donuts guy. I made sure I was at Dunkin' Donuts at 7:30 to 8 o'clock every morning. You knew I was there because you saw my wrapped vehicle. I had a wrapped car. I had 3 different wrapped cars, but every 3 years, a new wrapped car. Sat in the front. I went in Dunkin' Donuts because that's where all the people in my farm area went every morning before they went to work 30 miles away. I had to be where they were present. So I leveraged the marketing that way. But the Facebook page is a tool that now could be used as this value prop for me to put up content with simple conversations. So it starts with, how do I do that? Who do I target? Because all in all, they know the people in my farm area, right? Here's the other play I want you to think about is, how do I go deeper into that? Is besides the physical businesses that are there, who are the local businesses? And this is where we go back to that. How do I build my database of people from my COI and Sphere? Is now find the people that are on the road remote serving that, the landscapers. And these are some of our clients. Here's one in Florida. They go out and find, like, here's the detail dude, right? Like, this is an entrepreneur that's in a solo van, hustling and grinding, right? But if I went to the detail dude and said, hey, listen, I'm in Florida. I run across a lot of clients who have cool cars, boats, and whatever. I'd love to promote your business to my real estate clients. Would that be okay? Do you have any idea what his contact list? When you get to know, I happen to know this guy because I listened to their interview. This guy only details cars, boats, and airplanes. You think he knows a few people? And he's out there hustling, cleaning, and grinding, but he knows some cool people. And if I offer value to him first, good content for my social, Instagram, a little video clip, I could put a link. And if this is like, if not to dive into too much social, but if you're doing like Instagram stories right now and you don't know, you could add a link now in Instagram stories without having to be a big influencer, meaning you could put a link to a video or a house or something in your stories. That's where I would be taking this content. But more importantly, what does this dude think of me when I give him this level of value tying in some video stuff that Sam just shared to this. Hold up my phone, ask a few questions, get a snippet of why he's doing what he's doing. Do you think he might feel like he wants to refer business to me? Anytime he hears the word real estate, I didn't ask him for a dime. I just think he does a good job. I want to promote him to my real estate clients and promote him on my social page. Gives me awesome content, but I'm building rapport. That's prospecting. It's the easiest way I could prospect because no one loves rejection. I don't like it. I've been doing it for years. Get rejected every day, but I don't love it. So here's a way I can always find value to the people. Here's another. Then look, some people take it at a very low minimum step. You don't need to get crazy and fancy and overwhelmed. It could be a photo. Make sure if you're doing the photo, you're tagging them. Sam mentioned tagging earlier. You tag them and you ask them to share it to their page too, because guess what? If you're like, hey, it's Jeff Lobb, I'm with so-and-so real estate. I'm here with the owner of, and they're sharing that to your page, your brand, you're getting promoted as your real estate brand. So here's the extreme of this. They found so much value in it. They said, you know what? We got to go all in on this. They have, I think they went from like 30 agents to 70 agents now. They brought a videographer on like full time. And I would love to have that, but that's not where everyone goes. So I don't want you to be overwhelmed. It literally just starts with this. Let's not lose sight of it. But I want to show you can go there. Is now they literally on a weekly basis go out and find the coolest places in their towns and communities. And this was like the Dune Dog Cafe. And they went true like interview style. Hey, I'm with the owner of Dune Dog. Hey, what's your favorite dog? How long have you been doing this? Who's your favorite? Like, do you do catering? It's awesome. The Dune Dog loves it, or whoever that client is. They're getting free promotion it's probably the best commercial they've ever had because no one took the time to do it. And they love their real estate agents for bringing this value. Secondly, you saw me do the newsletter stuff and the content. This becomes your newsletter, outbound marketing stuff, and your social stuff all in one. So it's not like you're doing the work once for like one thing. This becomes like 5 things. But the most important part is you're prospecting. Because I know the Dune Dog Cafe not only knows a lot of residential people, they know investors, they know other business owners, they're in business networking groups, and they get the word out about what I do for them. So there's so many ways that this, like literally, if I had to sell real estate tomorrow in my own backyard, this is exactly where I would start. One of the many things. I have a lot of other lead gen ideas I would do, but this 100% would be the easiest way for me to hit the ground running, to meet people that I haven't met in a long time. And think about this. I don't know anybody in your neck of the woods. Don't know a soul. If you dropped me into your market, not that I would be amazing at it, but couldn't I just literally create a Facebook page tomorrow and do this in your backyard with a stranger business? And 98% of the time probably get yeah, this is awesome. How do we do it? And I can meet people. So simple concept. Everyone has a Facebook page. It's never about the technology or the tools. It's what you do with it that will make all the difference in the world. All right. So that is a strategy. Hopefully you execute. Doesn't have to be extreme. The biggest mistake though, let me share this. The biggest mistake people make, I'll just tell you right now, because it's been made before. Do not create a page and just start posting about stuff in your market area. And I had a client do it. Jeff, I created an awesome page. I want you to look at it. I looked at it, had all these cool like restaurants to eat and all this other stuff. I'm like, wow, you did a lot of work in like 3 weeks. How'd you do all that? They're like, oh no, these are my favorite places to go. And I'm like, no. It's not about making a post. That's cool. It's about going to the human being and talking to them and asking them and bringing value to them and shaking their hand or doing it via Zoom if you have to do it now, because that's why we have people doing it via Zoom because of the pandemic. No excuses. Because guess what? When the pandemic hit, guess how we pivoted? Get on Zoom. You know what? All these restaurants that are suffering right now, or all these businesses, who's delivering? Who's doing virtual? I have people that are doing virtual yoga, virtual, like imagine yoga instructor. Do they know people? Mm-hmm. The dog walker that walks to parks every day, all day with people's dogs. They know a lot of people. Find the uniqueness of the people and elevate them. And you're the local expert. Okay. So market with intention, leverage their stuff. This all revolves around leveraging all these people. That's where they go. That's where you connect with them. I know we got to wrap up. I'll give you 2 quick things. I always have a whole bunch of freebies on board as a thank you for having me. You can screenshot all these if you want. They'll be on recording. These are all just ebooks we give away to our clients and friends. to just have step-by-step ebook stuff on TikTok and Reels. I'll give you guys a second to like zip if you want to scan them. But in the meantime, I'll leave this up for a second. You could have my business card as well. Flip this back to who wants to wrap this up at the very end. Sam, we want to come back
Dave
to
had
our
to hop off and get some closings done. But Tina, if you're still on, there's anything you want to say to wrap up, and I just want to thank Duncan Olashave, WFG national title, Tina and Dave, and the entire Guaranteed Rate Affinity team for having us today. So thank you so much. Tina, you want to say a couple words, and then we'll jump into a little Q&A.
Yeah, we just want to thank you, Sam and Jeff. That was awesome. And also Duncan and Janelle for helping set this up for us. And thank you everyone who was able to come today. We're going to be sending out a follow-up email, and we'll send out the video recording and also follow up with some strategies to implement all this. So your loan officers will be reaching out to you in the next couple of days. And thank you again to everybody who came.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having us. And yeah, you'll have a recording, you'll have all the presentations, deliverables, and all that stuff. And that last slide was awesome, Jeff. That is super.
Yeah,
cool, man.
I have my team hard at work creating ebooks for, you know, the deliverables. And to me, it's always about giving back, right? How do we give something back? You're giving away stuff. We're giving away stuff. You know, it's always about execution. So you can have a great ebook, but you still might need help executing, right? So we're here for Q&A if you want. We got some time, right? So
D, were you able to turn off the mute thing so that people can unmute themselves if they want to ask?
Yeah, let's give free reins to whoever wants to unmute. We'll stick around for whomever.
Should work. You have it now, so it should work.
Okay, cool. Let me, sorry, I'll go in and unmute everybody then. And if you have any question in the meantime while I'm doing this, yeah, you should be able to unmute yourself if you'd like. So if you have a question, unmute yourself and ask. If for some reason you can't, you can drop it in the chat as well. The settings.
Yeah. We know some people got to bounce, got work to do. I get it, but you know, we're here.
Yeah.
I had a quick question.
Yeah, please.
Hi, my name is John Mendez. I'm a realtor at Keller Williams in Stanford. My question is about social media posting frequency, specifically Instagram, because that's what I wanted to focus on. I'm currently doing a 7-day challenge where I'm going to be posting a reel every day. And I wanted to know, like, what's a good balance as to posting frequency to start growing a page?
Cool.
For me, either one. Go for it.
I mean, to me, you know, I get a little bit hung up on people that try and create like a schedule of frequency. Like it's not like a schedule. Social media happens as it happens. So, you know, the best way to manage your time is literally when you get that 45 seconds to shoot that reel you're going to do, or that 60-second reel, you do it. This is the time you maximize in between your appointments, in between like when that happens. When you post it, remember, reels are getting a lot of traction right now. So they'll stay and get sticky for a while. The trick to what I do with the Instagram stories is I literally just take photos throughout the day. I am not the one that's going to sit here and do a story every 30 minutes of my life, but I will at the end of the day, make all my stories into one, push them all out, and they're good for the 24 hours. So I think you create the reels as it happens. Like literally, if I get off this call and I have 10 minutes between my next one, I'll do it now. That's my maximizing of time values. That's my thoughts.
And I think the cool thing is now too, we used to talk a lot about like optimal times to post, John. And so it used to be a little different where there were, you know, people getting ready in the morning. So it was like there was 7:30 to 8:30, and then there was just before lunch when people were kind of already checked out. There was right after lunch, and then there was just before the 5 o'clock hour. In today's world, the algorithms have gotten so deep that the timing of your post doesn't matter as much. The relevancy and potentially who you tag and stuff matters a lot more. So I would focus a lot less on work. You know, I like the idea of saying, I'm going to get myself to do this for the next week. I love that. But when it comes to the specific times and stuff, don't worry about that anymore. And Jeff's exactly right, man. When it comes to reels, some of those get so, I like how he put it, get so sticky. Those are going to hang around for a while. And one of the things that, you know, don't forget to use those hashtags on reels. Because if you notice, when you go to click search on Instagram, you're getting served up a lot of stuff from random people near you. It's because of the hashtags and the geotags. So don't forget to use those if you want to get served up in your area.
And then to follow up really quickly. So how do you guys recommend going about batching content? Do you guys recommend batching content, or how do you go about doing that?
Batching as in how? As in specific?
Batching as in like taking like maybe time blocking 3 hours in one day and just recording as much content as you can within those 3 hours and then going from there or something like that.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do like a 3-hour window. I would probably say the biggest thing you want to do is it's good to block the time to do it, trust me. But you want to make it different too. You want different scenarios, like literally if you're walking down the street or if you're out and about or if you're in your car, you want it doesn't want to look staged like you're sitting there just cranking out like 3 hours of videos and little snippets, because it sometimes looks mundane. But if you could mix it up a little bit, I just had to do a promo video for an event. Like literally I took one sitting here at my desk and I took one, I was just walking outside to my car.
Yeah.
So it's got to look a little bit different. So if you could do that, probably just some of my thoughts, Sam.
Yeah.
And then I see Heather's got her hand up next. So we'll get to Heather.
I think the same thing. I mean, if you batch too much, you'll notice, like, especially with some of the influencers that we probably all follow, you'll see like 12 different reels over the last 3 months where they're wearing the exact same outfit in the exact same place, and it becomes less genuine. So to me, time blocking, yes. Batching, recording a bunch at once. And I'm so ADD as it is, like for me to focus and stay on for more than just a couple little one hits, like I don't think I would do it unless you're strategizing to become an influencer in a different way. And if you are, like, that's not me. I'm Sam with bags. So I thank you for the question, John. Appreciate it. Was it Kat? Who did
Heather has her hand up. I see that, and then we can go. If you want, throw your hand up too. We'll try and find you. Heather, go ahead, go for it.
Hi there, I'm Heather. I'm Keller Williams in Westport, Connecticut. Thank you guys so much. It's all good stuff. And I see a lot of the focus is on video, which I have to get there because clearly that's where to be right now. But I just had a quick question about the idea. And Sam, you talked about a little bit of the Pinterest, like the idea of posting that sort of like, helpful content. What do you say to the idea of like having anything that you do post link back to your website as opposed to like posting something that would take people to Pinterest?
I wouldn't defer them to another place. And I know Jeff talked about Pinterest. Pinterest is like my favorite, man. People are always like, that's for girls. And I'm like, well, I'm in. I don't care who it's for. Like, I love it. So I wouldn't necessarily send people back there. Pinterest is a great way to find content that you can repurpose. Right?
Okay, so put it in your own, would you put it on your website and then post a link to your website? Or would
that'd be a great way to drive some traffic to your website. People are a little less likely to click external links on social. So in social, across all platforms, is more likely to serve your content up if it keeps them there. Right? Like they don't want people leaving either. So that's why like native video, right? So you could post, and I've kind of split test this, right? Like before, because I'm a nerd and these are the things that nerds do. And so I would post a native video on LinkedIn and Facebook, and then I would post a link to the same video on YouTube, on the same channel, same type of day, like same type of post, and see, and the native videos. So in other words, the one that I uploaded to Facebook, to LinkedIn, the reach was through the roof compared to the external links. One, people don't want to click a link and have a window open and all this stuff, but two, the platforms don't want people leaving. So you keep them there. If you make it native, that's the way to do it. So when it comes to Pinterest, find the content, repurpose it in your own words. You don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
When Jeff brought up Pinterest, one of the things that it's so funny, like towards the end of my, active real estate career, which was a few years ago, I still have a license and stuff. So I'm one of you, but I don't practice actively anymore necessarily. But one thing I got all excited about was I started looking at like real estate agent pop buys on Pinterest. And there were all these people that are far more creative than me. They were coming up with great ways to, like, the day your client is moving in, something to pop by the house with that's really creative and kind of catchy and stands out from the crowd. So be using Pinterest in 2022 as a way to generate ideas and come up with thoughts, but definitely do it yourself. Don't send people back to Pinterest.
Okay. Thank you.
I see Derek up next, but I just want, so real quick, Heather, the other thing you could do with that is if you want to get yourself into the video, do yourself a little quick video of, hey, it's Heather from Keller Williams. I was really having a tough time looking at storage ideas. I ran into this awesome thing with 21 storage ideas. Come check it out and have your Pinterest click there. So now you look like you're kind of giving them the value with your little video clip there. So make it look like your idea, right? So,
yeah, because you can't be copying their content, right? I mean, that's what I'm
there. So you just link to it.
Okay.
The ideas. You're just leveraging their ideas and content to.
But creating that video.
I was thinking about you guys. Here's what I found. If you need some storage ideas, here's a great thing. Boom.
Okay.
Cool. Derek.
That makes sense.
Thank you. Derek, and then I see Andrew. So thanks for the hand raises. Yep.
Hi, again, thank you, Jeff and Sam, for your time this morning. This has been great. Took a lot of good notes. 2 questions. So we are I have a Facebook business page. I have a Facebook personal page. I'm sharing all of my content, anything that I put on my Facebook page, I share to my personal page. Should I be doing 2 separate posts, one for my Facebook business page, one for my personal page, or not waste the time? I'm just trying to figure out how to get a good balance there. And then my next question kind of ties into this, part of a 2-part question. Let's talk about the ratio, if you think it's important, between business and personal. I see a lot of pages. It's just business, real estate, and it bothers the crap out of me. What is a great ratio?
I don't know if I have a ratio per se as a number. I just say way more personal. Not that you shouldn't share your business, even when it comes to the business.
Yeah.
You got to be more creative. The only reason social media has become not just the world that it's in, has become an actual addiction, is because people want to know more about people. They want to live in the lives of you. And I know people hate to share that, but who cares? You'll see, like on my weekends, like we're all humans, like no matter what we do for a living, we all put on our pants the same way. Right. So, on weekends, like I'm coaching kids lacrosse, I'll take a picture of that. Like I'll be taking pictures. They want to know what you do around your world as a human to like and trust you. So even when you're taking a picture, like that static picture of them in front of the house with the sold sign, like that's cool and all, but like, what about something more personal, even with them or their kids? Like get something, do they have pets? Get more involved in that. You will find way more engagement with the things and the little things in life that we do, that people will like and trust you while you sprinkle in your real estate world. That's just my flavoring, is more personal, less business, but make the business even personal.
100%.
I love that. Thank you so much.
And Derek, I think you said something really interesting, right? Like we are our own best market research. We don't have to, like, we're consumers too, right?
Yeah.
What are the things that you like to see? What are the things that annoy the hell out of you? Right? Like we know. And so I try to focus on those. And when I see something, and if you look, there's statistics on the highest performing professional activities on social media. And because of the frequency of real estate agents posting exclusively about real estate, it's towards the bottom of the top 15.
Yeah.
Number 1 and 2 go back and forth between charitable and educational, right? So there's the 2 things that are the most engaging. Things having to do with giving back to your community. People like to do business with people that care about their community, and things that are educational. So if we're consistently posting like open house, new listing, closing, got a new bag because of my closing. Like if we're doing that, it's not the stuff that's engaging. And I love what Jeff said. I saw somebody one time post, they were always posting a picture of the people in front of their new house holding a big key with their name on it and all that stuff. They went from that. One time they posted a picture of the people's dog on the front stoop of the new house. The people weren't even in the picture. It was the dog. And the guy was like, literally like, congratulations, Spot, on your new home. That piece of content got like 100 times more traction than any of the other pictures, because it was different. It stood out. It was fun. And so you're your own best market research as far as what works. What do you like? What do you not like?
I love it.
Yeah. Cool. Andrew, what's up? Andrew.
Hey, thanks a lot for all your hard work today. I've got some great ideas. I've been watching a lot of, I'm into woodworking. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos on that. And I've amazingly found that sometimes people watch that stuff just to go to sleep at night. But my question is, how important is it to have a strong YouTube page around your business? Do you have like one for your business, one for your private life kind of thing, or just, how do you guys feel about YouTube in terms of getting your message out and creating relationships?
I'll kick off. I think YouTube, because it is a Google product, is served up really high when it comes to SEO. So having a YouTube page that's named the same as you and your business is really important. Personally, I think I have to, but only because one time I created one on accident like 5 years ago. So but I have one, right? It's me. I put my professional stuff there. I put some personal stuff there. And it's kind of like, I see it kind of like my social feed, right? Like if you go to my YouTube channel right now, you'll see me talking about, what to do if you get hacked on social. You'll see me talking about how to generate some more reviews. You'll also see me on a trip through the New Mexico mountains with my family. Right? Like, so I think it's all kind of there. That's how I see it, because again, people want to do business with people they like. And so to get people to like you, first off, like them, and then they'll like you back. Like, that's a whole nother thing. I just started thinking about that the other day. Like, the easiest way to gain more clients and to get people to like you, find something you like about them. People like to be liked. I was just thinking about that a lot the other day. But people like genuine, right? They don't care about me because, you know, I'm a marketing technology director with a national title insurance company, right? They care about me because they like my dog Hamilton. They know that I spend time with my parents, right? They like that I like to go off-roading with my Land Cruiser, whatever. Those are the things that people connect with. And so to me, it's the same thing across every platform, and I'll call YouTube a platform. Stay genuine, be who you are, sound how you sound, look how you look, and people will absolutely connect with you. If that answers your question.
Yeah, it does. I mean, thinking back on some of the YouTube videos, I know a lot of the comments were on a video that said, wow, it's so great you showed how you messed up in making this particular thing, because I get so tired of these fake YouTube videos where, you know, it seems like they never make a mistake.
Right.
So,
Relatable. It's human. You're humanizing yourself.
So, two things. Michelle, I see you up next, but hang tight. So Andrew, you know, I think same thing, Sam, but you create just 2 channels, right? So you can create one YouTube account, but just have a channel for your woodworking stuff and have your channel for your real estate stuff. But keep in mind, if you're going to create that content, like, maximize the hell out of it by repurposing that. Like, literally take a snip. If you, I don't know, you don't have to be a master editor, but if you want to get people to your YouTube channel, like, take 30 or 60 seconds of something of that and run that like on an Instagram story with a link to your YouTube channel to see the whole thing. Like, if you want to see how to build this birdhouse, we're doing it today right here. Click the link and then take them to your YouTube channel. It's all the same content that you're repurposing for other stuff. So you're getting more value out of that video content. Just keep in mind of how to repurpose it. That's all. Lots of cool ideas there.
Yeah, repurposing is huge. We spend so much time. One of the questions I get asked most is about content. And one, it's all around us. We're having meetings daily. We're going to new restaurants daily. We're engaging in educational activities daily. All of those things are pieces of content, but it also becomes one of those, people are so focused on creating new content that they get lost in the constant creation of new content rather than using what they already have and repurposing it. You know, a 5-minute long YouTube video, you could probably make 40 pieces of content from that easily, right? And so continue to repurpose that stuff. Well, I see Michelle with her hand up, and we'll talk to Michelle real quick, and then we're going to wrap things up. And don't forget when we wrap things up, you'll have a recording of this, and you'll have the deliverables. And Tina and her team at Guaranteed Rate Affinity, you'll get that stuff to you. So thanks again so much for being here. Michelle, what's up?
Hey guys, Michelle Sperry from Westport, Connecticut. Thank you guys. It was so good, so inspiring this morning. It made me take my camera and put it on, and you got to see all this. This is real.
I love it.
Oh, it is. How we roll, right? You got to be real.
So you kind of touched 2 of my questions, but I just want to make sure I get a little clarity. When I see something on Instagram where somebody will take a picture and then they'll put a little star and say repost, and then they put the website. I saw one just recently, and it was sort of like a decorator's website, and it was like, oh, pretty something for inspiration on this cloudy day, and then it said repost and then the person's name. I know there's no police out there. I know there's nobody giving tickets, but can you just share with me the proper etiquette of when and how you can and can't do that? I would love somebody who's been doing it as long as you have been, because I've never done that. And I wasn't sure how. And this was the person who did it. It was the person they reposted from. I mean, for all I know, it could be her sister, but I don't think so. It's like some company in Dubai.
Yeah. Jeff, you want to take it, or you want me to?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the number, there's no police, but the number 1 rule is, if you're going to repost anybody's content, is giving them credit for the content. As long as there's credit given on any repost of any content, you should be okay. 90 some odd % of the people that, if you reposted something of theirs and they got credit for it, would be happy about that because of more exposure. The problem lies is when you don't, and you make it look like your own, and then people get pissed and upset over that. So as long as you give proper credits to that repost or their content, usually you're good. There is no real defined police rule on that.
And it is,
I don't necessarily do it, but.
And it is just that little, I mean, on occasion I'll see something and I'll think of a client and I'll send it directly, but in theory though, it's a little asterisk with, you know, the word repost and then an @ and then tag that.
Tag, or I would even, if I was gonna do it, I'd probably make it even a little more personable, like @repost love this content from, like give a little love to that person for it. So they go, oh, this is really nice. I got a fan. Like I would always make sure there was always a warm gesture.
A little bit more.
Just a little bit like static.
If they're a public profile, which will allow you to repost their content, they're kind of used to that. But it's funny, you can change the conversation. If you just do it, you know, they're probably not going to get offended. They want people to share their stuff. They look at their viral numbers and they're excited when somebody reposts or shares their stuff. But when you give them credit, it's amazing. Most of the time, they end up following you back. Sometimes they'll repost your repost and say, hey, thanks, Michelle, for your repost of my, you know, like, and then it turns into a real positive. So absolutely credit and gratitude. That's the whole point of social, is to get social. But when you give credit, I don't see any issue with doing that.
Okay, and then you were talking about YouTube. So I had written down the 2 questions that I wanted to ask. Do you recommend YouTube over all the other platforms then to have that be one place if you're going to house video or content, and then to pull from there? Like, would you say that, as opposed to like, what is it, Vimeo? Is Vimeo? Am I getting confused? As opposed to Vimeo, I know some people sort of shifted to that, but it's still, you're still YouTube strong, right?
If it's free, it's para mí. Like I told you guys at the beginning, YouTube, so I'm in. So there's the first thing. Okay. There's the first thing. And then secondly, yeah, I mean, it's a Google company. They're going to serve up their content above others. When you search things, some of the first things you see is video. And so make sure the tags are good, make sure your names are good, make sure the geo tags on your videos are good. Vimeo is more of a, like, you know, long-term, high definition professional hosting platform in my mind. YouTube is more of a, I want to house things here, have people go back to them. And again, it helps massively with SEO, more so than Vimeo or any other platform. So I would stick with YouTube in my mind. And then did I mention it was free? Did I mention that already, that it was free? Because it's free. So I like that.
It's free.
Okay.
And then specifically with that geo going deep, and I'm so sorry for the other guy, my question to you is, I started a page. I've got a lot of groups out there because I had another business. We all had former lives. And this page is called Rippling. And I've been going out and doing these clips and video reels and promoting them. And I've got a stack of business cards. I know it's bad. I've done nothing with them. Look, from all of the craft fairs, because I'm craft fair obsessed. How do I take this, look at the cards, and turn it into a good system for follow-up? That's my last question. They're sitting here, they're falling. There's so many of them stacked. I've met every candle maker. And by the way, I went broke from going to all the craft fairs because I bought everybody's stuff.
Yeah. Do you have a scanner or a camera?
Yes.
I would lay them out, take what I would do. I would
want to know what you would do. Yep.
I would take pictures of all of them, go on Fiverr, hire somebody for like $5 an hour or $4 an hour, or someplace where they can just type in data and give them a spreadsheet to fill it all in. Give them the template: name, address, phone number, fax number, email, address. Here's the template I want. Take all this stuff, type it in, and get it back to me. And $100 later, you probably have a list or less.
Yeah, that'd be a fast way to do it. Fiverr's great for that. I love using have them create you a quick CSV file using all that information and then target those people. You can turn that into audiences for Facebook and Instagram. You can use that as a, email campaign. The data is powerful. So anybody that has a stack of cards on their desk right now, Jeff, great idea. I mean, you can scan that stuff over to somebody on Fiverr, have them turn it into a CSV file for $50 probably, and then start to build from that. Your data is the future currency of your business. Right. Your online reviews and your data. Those are the 2 things. Like, if you have those 2 things, you'll be successful in the future, no doubt.
I feel terrible, and I left them here so I can see them. And every day I see them, I get like a pit in my stomach. Thank you, gentlemen, very, very much. Really fantastic.
Jeff, you are the man. I really appreciate it. You're under the weather, and so I appreciate. There was one more real quick, and then we got to wrap up. So
I heard a voice. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is Jorge. Can you hear me?
Oh, there you are. Yep, I can hear you.
Yes, following up on the previous question, there is an app from Microsoft, the Microsoft Lens. You scan the business cards, and it converts them into contacts. That could be helpful as well.
Absolutely. Another one I like is CardCam. CARDCAM, CardCam, another free app that you can scan and turn it into a contact on your. I like the idea of having a CSV file. I don't take the time to do that. Adding them to your phone, CardCam, the Microsoft Lens, like there's a few different things. creating a CSV from them. I really like that idea, Jeff. So
And-
thank you, Jorge. Appreciate that. Jeff, you had one more thing?
No, I mean, look, if you have one card or two cards, it's great. If you have that many, look, your time is the most valuable thing. I'd rather you out prospect for an hour than type in names and addresses. Not that you're below that. I'll take out the garbage if I have to. I'm that kind of guy. But let's spend our hour making money versus and pay somebody $3, $4, $5, $10 an hour to go do that kind of work so you can focus on the activities. That's where we struggle. We spend our time doing the not productive stuff. We give up that time. And I get it. It's counterproductive sometimes. So just think about where you spend it. That's all.
Absolutely. It's a great mindset. So Tina, everybody at Guaranteed Rate Affinity, thank you so much for having us. Duncan, Janelle, the team at WFG National Title, thank you guys. I think it's going to be an awesome year. Thanks, Will, for the round of applause. Appreciate you guys. Keep an eye out for the follow-up. And Tina and I have already started brainstorming about a couple sessions coming up. So we're going to deep dive into some more of this stuff in the coming year. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks for spending some time with us, and we'll see you all very soon. Bye, guys.